qualifying session. Nevertheless, the tire selections being made as we speak. A bit of a light crowd here this evening. Points on offer all the way down the grid. So opportunities everywhere. Those who feel as though they could use the points, that will be critical in this race this evening. We'll go ahead and get everything all set up for you as we typically do. Just like that. We will be underway. Who on earth do I need to abuse this time? Like it's Young again. I'm going to slap him in his face. Let's see. Dylan, of course, the normal problem child at this point. Magical. We have an Aston Martin as well, I do believe. That is the Aston Martin of Hicks. Is causing issues as well. We'll go ahead and just double check that. It is exactly as I expected, so nevertheless, there you go. A nice dry session here this evening, which I'm sure many of the drivers who were here for last week's race will surely appreciate. The wet weather certainly coming into effect last time out around the Red Bull Ring. But clear skies and sunny days is what it looks like here this evening. Around the Circuit de Catalunya, it's Mo on his outlap. Haas with a great start to their season. Much, much better than their their Season 5 campaign. I almost said 2020 campaign, but nevertheless, we'll go ahead and give Miguel an invite as I go ahead and fight through all of this. I don't see him online, so that's just great. That's phenomenal. There he is right there. Magical stuff. All right, we can get the second of the two Alpines in the lobby. It's neither of them taking place in last week's race, but nevertheless, back to our main topic of discussion on the Haas's. A much better start to the season this time around. Mo and his teammate Santi not present this evening, but putting up a healthy amount of points. Last time out in Austria, they did a phenomenal job. Mo will, be it short-handed, look to remedy and replicate that same scenario. He heads now into one of the newer corners on this track. It wasn't always such a swooping left-hand corner. Many, many modifications made to this Barcelona circuit over the course of the last few years. He comes around the final corner, keeping it nice and tidy to set our first time of the evening. A 12.8, the first time set as Ascension. The man who, having a great race last time out, just didn't quite get it all together in the adverse conditions. Have many, many pings. Let's see. I'm literally going to slap. Dylan has made the fix. Thank you very much. Young and Hicks, I will reach through your monitors with my entire hand and slap you in the face if you do not fix your telemetry. A NASCAR freak in the Aston Martin coming across the line. Not the start to the season that Aston Martin would have had in mind, but nevertheless, they can finally see themselves on the timing charts. NASCAR Freak did not finish last week. He will look to solve that problem here this evening. Meanwhile, let's see who else we have potentially on a lap. Our winner of last week's race and our current championship leader, Capex, still in the pit lane. We can take a look at his teammate, Young, who again is in the process of completing his lap while dodging my punches through his screen. I'm going to keep that on track, and the Mercedes have gotten off to a phenomenal start this season. A double podium in last week's races. There you go. Both Silver Arrows now out onto the track here in qualifying. So both Young and Capex laying down that Mercedes are going to be the team to beat here this season. And it could be a long, long season ahead for those that see themselves as title challengers. Go ahead and see who else might just be on a lap. Miggy is on his lap just now coming through the middle sector as we see the Alpines on track. For the first time this season, neither Miggy nor Ted able to attend last week's race. We'll go ahead and see who else might be out on the track. I do believe that is Mark just now coming across the line as he opens that rear wing, looking to set the first of his laps of the evening. Mark was leading such a significant part of last week's race, but his tires just somehow falling away. Capex overtaking him in the final laps of the race and able to keep the Williams behind. Williams are in a bit of a rebuild year, but the rebuild is looking to be accelerated by the man you see on your screen right now. Both him and Dylan looking to make inroads and really show that Williams mean business here in this season 6, and it would go a long way to really reaffirming that with back-to-back solid performances from the Williams as Mark goes ahead and avoids the parked Aston Martin on the side of the road as he sets the fastest middle sector. So Mark is making inroads potentially into this time. We'll have to see what his first lap of the session. Still a long way to go in qualifying. Opening that rear wing, sees himself third fastest, so a 12.7. Good enough to get into the top 3, but still about a 10th off of the Aston Martin of NASCAR Freak. So lots still to play for here in this one. The McLaren of Tuesday, the man that came up from Tier 4, maybe not having his best of showings last week, will look to remedy that all on his own as the reigning Cup Constructors champions will look to try and just etch their mark in Tier 3 once more. Looks to do just that. We'll go ahead and see who else could be on a flying lap. I do believe Hicks is doing just that. We'll go ahead and ride on board with the Aston Martin, heading up through that uphill S section. Part of the track that you can nail it, that is where you will find a significant portion of your time across your lap. What can this Aston Martin do riding that outside line? There's many different thoughts and opinions as to how that corner should be took. He's using that outside line, looking to gain as much speed as he possibly can. Keeps it safe on the exit. Opens that rear wing, 10th fastest for the Venezuelan. Nevertheless, into the top 10 for both Aston Martins. One seeing himself in 10th, one seeing himself on pole, albeit by 5 thousandths of a second. We've got a Alpine that is actually the Williams, I do believe, of Mark, is it? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that's Dylan, actually, that was pulled to the side of the road. Nevertheless, Aston Martin of Hicks making his way through. Who else might just be on a lap? It was a great performance last time out from this Red Bull you see on your screen here, looking to follow it up with phenomenal back-to-back performances. Elected for the one-stop strategy last time out with the intermediate tires and absolutely nailed every single bit of it. Made every single use of the green-walled intermediate tire, which we don't seem to be looking at here, at least during qualifying. Shermer now on his outlap, another newly promoted driver from Tier 4, looking to continue his rise up the field through Tier 3 as he begins his second lap of the session. Still 8.5 minutes to go on this track that doesn't take a long time to get around at all. The lap time's likely to condense here as we carry on in this session. The track continuing to evolve. What times could we potentially see? We see maybe some of the drivers find the 111s. That will be certainly a time to beat if they do indeed find it. As I will check my messages one more time just to make sure that I'm not missing anything. We can be on our way. Looks like we are going to be in good shape. All is fine and dandy. 7 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Miguel and Hicks, along with Young, yet to... they are going to be not just catching lap times here, but catching fists. As I go and bully them in the chat later. Schirmer coming across the line, improving his time. The 8th fastest for Red Bull, but soon overtaken by the Williams, propelling himself up into 7th for Dillon. A very, very solid start for Williams, but Schirmer will be, I'm sure, looking to use the rest of this qualifying session to head further into the field. As further into the field goes Exception. That Racing Bull has some speed in it. Behind the wheel as 7 promotes himself into 2nd place as well. The times quickly gaining and gaining and gaining on us. Aero Knight coming across the line, still in 14th. As who else can we ride on board with? I do believe that is the Williams of Mark. That is on his outlap. Knocked out of the top 3, still sitting 6th fastest. Will look to likely challenge the likes of 7 of NASCAR Freak 7. The lone Ferrari here this evening. The absence of Frenny, I'm sure, felt across the grid. As Ferrari do not have their dynamic duo here this evening. Only one of them able to attend tonight's race. Availability sometimes is your best ability. In these Constructors' Championships, in the Drivers' Championships, you miss one race. But as close as this field can be at times, it is the end of your season and your title charge. Nevertheless, Ferrari will be hoping that that's not the case. But with the speed of the Mercedes, with the oncoming gains of the Williams, with Aston Martin's looking rather pacey here this evening. Just the one race missed as Aero Knight heads his kick Sauber into 7th place. See a spin there in the background. Not entirely sure who that was. Might have been Miggy, who's just absolutely spun it. Heading into the hairpin. But nevertheless, Mark into the depths of this final sector just now, coming around the final corner. Can he, with 5 minutes to go in the session, find a way back into the top 3? And he does just that. A 12.3 sees him head back to the front 2 rows. So, a very, very good start from the Williams. Will have time to get back in the garage and get one more lap in before the end of this session. Let's see who else we can grab at this moment in time. I do believe the other Aston Martin of Hicks is getting a move on his lap. Can he improve on his 13.3? Can he take both Aston Martins back into the top 10? Comes across the line. Doesn't look like he was able to do so. May even validated actually at some point on that lap. Will not elect to go for another lap. But for the first time this evening, we will go ahead and ride on board with our championship leader, our race winner last time out, Capex, reasserting himself on this Tier 3 grid, showing that the title might not have been his last season. It most certainly will be this time around, and for Mercedes, they will be looking at their man to put them back on the top step once again. Capex now heading through the uphill S's, keeping it all nice and tidy, riding that outside curve very, very well, opening that rear wing, braking just after the 100-meter board, swinging that Mercedes power car with a big snap of oversteer. That will certainly cost him time heading on the exit of turn 11. what can the Mercedes man do? Just keeps it on the edge, invalidates that lap, and immediately dives into the pit lane, making sure that he's going to have enough time to get back out on the track. Mo is looking to continue his journey up the field, currently in 5th place at the moment. He even validated that lap, but nevertheless, he will be kicking himself for that one. 2 minutes, 50 seconds to go. We are getting very, very close to a very full track at the end of this 18-minute qualifying session. Just about 2.5 minutes to go. Let's go ahead and see who is currently on a lap and who might just be looking to take their time. Let this track evolve even further. Who will be playing the waiting game? Who will be playing the tactical game? We head into the late stages of this qualifying session. I am very concerned of the likes of both Alpines not having a good showing here so far. Dylan is out on track rather early, looking to improve on his 9th place start. I believe it's Mark, his teammate, on the exit of the pit lane. Now is actually into the pit lane and out of the pit lane. There you go. He was on the exit. I nailed it the first time. Shouldn't have corrected myself. Easy as you'd like. Nevertheless, his teammate is just come across the start-finish line, and I do wonder if that Williams is going to be able to increase his time even further. That will absolutely be the question. Nevertheless, Asception currently on pole for the Racing Bulls. That would be a sensational start to their evening. NASCAR Freak just now coming across the line. Not improve on his time as things stand. Still has probably what this would be his final lap of this session. Mo has gone ahead, says 5th best is all that I can potentially achieve. It does appear Young coming across the line. It's not going to be good enough from him as it stands. It may have been an outlap, but nevertheless, still in 11th place. That second of the 2 Silver Arrows. Capex coming across the line to start his final flying lap of the session. We have, I believe that is a Williams coming across the line. Is that Mark? It is Mark, who has just come across the line, still 3rd fastest for the Williams. And the times are going to come in thick and fast now. Schirmer can only find 10th fastest at the moment. Will he be able to remain in the top 10? That will absolutely be the question. Tuesday in that McLaren, looking to improve on his 8th place start. Can he potentially find his way into the top 5 with the Aston Martin of NASCAR Freak right behind him? It doesn't appear as though either of them were able to improve on their times. Here comes the Alpine of Ted. That's Miggy, actually. No, that's Ted. It's Miggy still not able to fix his telemetry, which I'm still punching him for. Then we find 14th fastest Ted. Is he looking to make a competitive lap of things? It does appear as though he is. 7 into the pit lane. It will be 5th fastest. Capex comes across the line, a fastest final sector, but missing out on pole position by 1,000th of a second. But just until Mark comes across the line and at the moment is taking pole position for Williams. Does Asception have anything to say about it? It doesn't appear as though he does. Does NASCAR Freak have it in that Aston Martin? It doesn't look like he is on a competitive lap once more. And that, I believe, will do it for qualifying. Schirmer comes across the line and will still start 10th fastest. Tuesday will come across the line in 8th fastest. So the McLaren finding its way into the top 10. And that should just about do it for qualifying. There you have it. It's Mark on pole. Such a key position to be in on this track that, unlike last week, is so difficult to overtake on. Nevertheless, they still have 33 laps of this Barcelona circuit to navigate. There you have it. Confirmation of Mark on pole with Asception just missing out, but still starting on that front row of the grid. Capex, the race winner last week, starting in third. He'll be alongside the American of NASCAR Freak in the Aston Martin beside him. Nevertheless, as we head into this race, go ahead, take a few minutes. We'll go ahead and alert the fellas to do just that. We will say type. Lovely. Go ahead and wait to see what strategy decisions are made here this evening. I do think that it's going to be very, very interesting to see what teams elect to go with. Do they elect to use the soft tire at all? The soft tire might be one that we don't see at all here this evening. And that would certainly be one that we would shock probably a few. But nevertheless, certainly keep our eyes on what strategy undertaken by the teams here this evening. Tire so crucial around here as we go ahead and start early, I suppose. Thank you very much for waiting, everybody. But nevertheless, they're just about underway. There you have it. Everybody on the grid. I hope everybody's ready to go. The medium tire on most. And it's lights out and away we go here from Barcelona. Mark gets away well on the soft compound tire. Exception looking to make a move to the inside. Capex is trailing all of them as well. 7 getting involved. They're 3 wide at the back of the field as multiple moves being made. There's Capex getting the best of the Racing Bull. He sees himself immediately up into second place. Dylan on the soft tire as well. Both Williams electing for the soft tire. Shermer in the background looking to make the move on Mo for 8th place as the Haas goes sliding off the track. That's not a good start from the lone Haas here this evening, but nevertheless we still wave the green flag. It's Miggy who's slow to get off the line. He definitely wasn't ready for the green light, I'll tell you that for free. Mark, nevertheless, has the lead of this race. The soft compound tire paying dividends here on the opening lap, as they all file through one by one. Arrow Knight seems to have a little look at the Aston Martin of NASCAR Freak as he looks to the outside, but the kicks out, but unable to get that move done for 6th position. Penalties will certainly play a key role in this race. That will be huge to watch as we carry on in this session. That was the Ferrari maybe having a little look, as this front 4 has already mostly broken away, as there's a huge slide there. That's Exception. That's the Racing Bull that went sliding off the track. Just got the power down a little too soon. An Exception after such a great qualifying, as Arrow Knight has a little moment off the track as well. He loses positions just the same, as he maybe has a little bit of wheel banging with the Aston Martin of Hicks as they go wheel to wheel heading through turn 7. That then becomes turn 8. They still side by side. Their elbows are certainly out. Mo looking to rectify his earlier mistake, trying to get past and into the top 10 once more. Not to be this time. Mo having maybe a little look at the Alpine. Nothing there on this second lap of 33. A long way to go, but they are racing as though every single corner is their last. We'll go ahead and have a look at this battle for 11th at the moment, as 7 is the fastest man on track as things stand, but the Alpine is going to have his hands full, as is Mark and Capex. This is the battle for the lead. Capex, courtesy of the DRS, has the move done. And are those tires for Mark already falling off a cliff? Has Williams maybe made the wrong call here to start the race on the soft compound tire? But that Ferrari is really going to be looking to get past the Williams to stay in touch with CapEx, who's looking and currently in position to take back-to-back wins here to open Season 6. It would be a delightful start to the season for him and for Mercedes. Still a very, very long way to go for him to be able to realize that, nevertheless, we have as well. This is a battle for 6th place, but Dylan, again, on that soft tire, still falling and falling further back. That red-walled soft tire not proving its worth here early in this race, and Mark already has lost touch at the front. The two Williams really, really struggling in the opening part of this race, as 7 running extremely wide there will look to get past the Williams as soon as he possibly can. That rear wing is open, but he's not going to be close enough to have a look at the Williams. But we've got another move here. This is for 4th place. NASCAR Freak and Deception battling this one out. Deception has the move done. Into the S's he went, and down the inside of the Aston Martin. Back into the top 4 for the Racing Bull after that earlier moment that he had spinning into the gravel. He gets his Racing Bull back into a competitive position and will look to close down that 2.1 second gap. We have Dylan, who is falling down the field once more. It is not the start that Williams would have wanted here this evening. 7 still might just be having a little look at the Williams. It's the only 2 DRS zones. He's found the second. That rear wing's open, but not close enough. Is the American to the Williams in front. So go ahead and make that move. Running very, very wide is that Ferrari as well. So mistakes being made left, right, and center on a track where it's very easy to make a mistake. This is the battle for 10th, as Mo looking to cling to Aero Knight to defend from the Alpine behind. Does look as though he's going to be able to do just that. But meanwhile, the battle for 2nd is about to be done and dusted before we get to the corner. 7 up into 2nd place, and that Ferrari can go ahead and chase after the Mercedes once more. He has cleared the Williams that, I think for all intensive purposes, has picked the wrong tire here this evening. I'm sure as Williams goes along in their weekend, they will relay the information to the rest of their team that the soft compound tire really only lasts you about 2 laps before you see severe problems. Nevertheless, here on lap number 5, this train, as NASCAR Freak is able to find his way within the 1 second gap. It's going to be very interesting to see if the Aston Martin has done so, as Deception there runs extremely wide, and he might not have had the DRS, but he'll certainly be in range of it now. This train runs from 2nd to 8th place if he can go ahead and hang on to the back of Young there. Nevertheless, CapEx, our race leader, 1.6 seconds out in front, is gaining time on 7th. Let's go ahead and see what the laps end up being. It was a quicker one for 7 as he's continuing to gain. Maybe just trying to defend from the Williams is that Ferrari. But nevertheless, Mark has more company in the name of Deception. Questions will be asked. When will Williams head into the pit lane, showing already that that soft tire is not the tire to be on at this point in the race. The place is tricky to overtake as this Barcelona circuit has the first 3-second time penalty of the evening handed out. That's to the Aston Martin of NASCAR Freak. Looks like Tuesday as well has had a moment at the back of the grid. Him and Dylan maybe just trading blows there for 12th position. Deception looking to close in on the Williams in front and clearing this soft compound tire equipped car will be crucial should Deception want to see himself on the podium in this race. Mark into the pit lane goes the Williams, and I don't think he was going to be able to hang that out much longer, but Deception now is going to come under attack from NASCAR Freak. He didn't get the same straight line speed as he would have liked, but nevertheless, NASCAR Freak almost out of nowhere into 3rd place. So Deception thinking he was gaining a position, ended up being exactly where he started, the Aston Martin, into a podium position, but still carrying that 3-second time penalty. The medium tire now for Mark as he goes ahead and gets out in front of his teammate Dylan, still yet to pit on that soft tire. Exception now is going to have to contend with not just the Aston Martin in front of him, but the gaining Red Bull behind him as well. Just about half a second, and holding steady is Shermer. Here on lap number 7, a long, long, long way to go here in this race. They head up the hill once more. This rather tricky, rather cumbersome final sector been reworked many, many times over the years. Was a chicane, then it wasn't a chicane. It was one big corner before, and now it is a culmination of 2 corners. Shermer, out of those 2 corners, is going to be under threat here from the Mercedes. This is Young to the inside, locks up. They bang wheels. I do believe Young was maybe just having a little bit too hard of a look. Locking up the tires, not really doing himself any favors, as Car Freak has a look at the Ferrari of 7. This is the battle for second place, and Deception will likely be interested in this as well, but no move done just yet. Aston Martin holding station here on lap number 8. All of this battling, however, will be music to the ears of Capex out front, as he just now about has a 3-second lead at the head of this 14-man field. Car Freak is gaining and gaining and gaining, courtesy of the DRS, but very, very difficult to make a move into that corner. Nothing happening this time around. Option does seem rather closer to the Aston Martin in front of him. We'll go ahead, take a look at the Racing Bulls pace as NASCAR Freak again exploring the limits of the track. Time penalties will be crucial here. He has a look. Does the Aston Martin at the Ferrari, and in front of 7 goes NASCAR Freak. Making good use of what he has in that medium tire. But you will wonder how hard as the teams push these medium tires here on lap number 9. Fastest man out on track at the moment is the man already in the pit lane. Mark at the back of the field using the clean air. His advantage. Currently sat in 11th. I'm sure we'll be seeing more from him later on in this race. Another recipient of a 3-second time penalty is Mickey at the back of the field. 7. Maybe just look. Have a move at the Aston Martin this time around. Nothing doing. Young might be coming under threat from the other Aston Martin Hicks just now as they head through the beginning of this final sector. That will be key. 7 is very much under attack from the Racing Bull. Could it be 2 positions in as many laps that the Ferrari loses? And Shermer in the background there just looming, making sure that every move as 7 has a look at the Aston Martin. He defended to the inside, did NASCAR Freak. 7 with the switchback might be saying that was a little close, my Aston Martin compatriot. Nevertheless, back into second position once more, courtesy of the drag reduction system. Into second goes the Ferrari, and Shermer, yes, finding his time in the background, using the DRS that he's getting in front of him. Has the ability to just keep touch with this lead 4, lead 5, if you want to call it that. This 4 kind of orphaned by Capex out front, who's still 2.5 seconds ahead, but that time is decreasing. He might have another move here. Is Deception going to have a look at the Aston Martin of NASCAR Freak, who's already shown to be running wide and does so again there. Here comes the Racing Bull. They bang wheels on the exit to turn 12. Is he going to have the move done? Still battling this one out. The elbow's absolutely out here on lap number 10, but it's the Racing Bull that has the move done. But could he come under immediate attack again, as NASCAR Freak is going to have a look to the inside. They make contact on the straight. As Deception will say, I was already moving to the inside. NASCAR Freak already even farther to the inside, gets the move done, but controversy already here on lap number 11. But that little squabble between the two of them has allowed Seven just maybe relieve some of the pressure that he was facing earlier in this race just a couple of laps ago. NASCAR Freak will have to make up that time once more. Racing Bull and the Aston Martin come to a head here on lap number 11. I don't think that is going to be the end of the hostilities here, as Deception continuing to gain on the Aston Martin, but tire wear will absolutely come into play here, and time penalties as well. You see those yellow exclamation marks. Every single person with that yellow exclamation mark is under threat of a penalty. One more warning for them that will illuminate red, showing that they are going to be penalized at the end of this race for one reason or another. Into the pit lane goes the race leader of CapEx. And what tire will it be? Down at Mercedes, it looks like it's got a white stripe on it, as Tuesday is out of this session. So the lone McLaren this evening will be departing, and Mo is going to go ahead and lose that position there to Hicks. The Aston Martin into 5th position, and for Aston Martin as a team, it's been a great start to this race, albeit with a little bit of controversy in the meantime, but nevertheless, the other Aston Martin currently holding station in 2nd. As we've got blue flags out on track. I do believe that's Miguel that is having maybe just some connection issues, showing that he is not in this session anymore, but maybe he is, but he's showing as a ghosted car. Nevertheless, NASCAR Freak is not going to have any issues overtaking him. He'll just be able to drive right through that ghost. CapEx coming out ahead of his teammate, both Mercedes on the white-walled hard compound tire at this stage in the race, and you would imagine that will signal maybe a few more drivers into the pit lane, but not this time around. Actually, it is going to be the Aston Martin of Hicks now into the pit lane. So we'll go ahead and have a look at what tire goes on that Aston Martin. Will it be the hards? Yes, it will. I'm sure we'll see the mediums once more at some point in this race. But for the time being, this battle for 2nd place is going to be key, as they're going to be looking to try and lap a bit quicker than the current race leader, who is looking to retake that spot down in 8th position, having pitted just a lap ago. CapEx, you can see that time is going down and down and down to the car in front. CapEx making severe inroads at this junction of the race with 20 laps to go. When will NASCAR Freak, Deception, and Shermer head into the pit lane? How much time will they have lost? That's going to be very, very interesting to see what the lap times look like, as there goes NASCAR Freak into the pit lane. So both Aston Martins will have completed their first stop of the evening. Deception into the pit lane as well, promoting Aero Knight into a podium position, but for how long remains to be seen. You would have to imagine that Shermer as well will look to peel into the pit lane at the end of lap number 14. 7 might also head in that direction as well, as we go ahead and just see where these two filter on back out onto the track. As there goes the other Mercedes of Young. It's not the one they were looking for. It's the trailing Mercedes, as NASCAR Freak maybe had to back out of that move a little bit as Deception went rocketing through. Racing Bull taking that position once more, that I'm sure they will continue squabbling over as we head into the latter stages of this race. Nevertheless, Young is just showing that he can pull away from the 2 or 3 now cars behind. The 2 Aston Martins running astern in 9th and 10th. Deception looking to use his fresh, hard compound tires to clear Young as fast as he possibly can. Flags here in Sector 3. That is a stricken Alpine, I believe. That's a stricken somebody. It may have been the other Alpine of Miguel exiting the session, but into the pit lane goes Shermer. A fresh set of hard tires on there. It's Ted into the pit lane as well. Aaron Knight into the pit lane. There you have it. Just about everybody has made their stop. Perception has the move done on the Mercedes, looking to stay clear of NASCAR Freak behind him. Shermer has come out behind not one but two Aston Martins. How will that hamper the Red Bulls race as we head on just now as we approach the halfway point of this race? Deception going to be looking to hunt down our provisional race leader, currently sat in third place, and he somehow find a way to close the 5.5 second gap. He's got just about 18 more laps in order to answer that question. But this battle for what is now 5th place is going to be heating up here. Could it be heating up between the two Aston Martins? Could they squabble over 6th position? How much teamwork will go in down at the English outfit 7? One of the final remaining yet to pit. The Ferrari into the pit lane on the pit exit now, and he find a way to come out in front of the Racing Bull. I don't think he's going to be able to get that done. There goes Deception. Here comes the Mercedes of Young, and he's going to come out ahead of the Mercedes. So nicely done there by the team down at Ferrari to get their man out ahead of the Mercedes, but immediately under attack is the Ferrari on the pit exit, trying as best he can to get those hard tires warmed up, and the two Aston Martins as well, squabbling over 5th position. They are side by side, NASCAR Freak and HEX banging wheels at the entrance of turn number 5. They're still wheel to wheel. It does appear as though they are, but NASCAR Freak holding the position for now. Two Aston Martins willing to race each other here in just round number 2, and I'm sure that team chat is likely to be a little spicy after this race, should anything happen to these two cars by their own accord. Shermer looking to apply pressure, though, in the wake of that collision between the two Aston Martins. He looms in the background, looking to potentially make any move available. Deception has gotten himself a 2.2 second lead over the Ferrari behind, who might just come under attack from NASCAR Freak, but it's NASCAR Freak who might yet come under attack from his teammate. Looking to the inside does HEX, but nothing doing this time around. Ted is looking to get past the Mercedes in for his 2nd stop of the session, so not a long stint on that hard compound tire for Young, but go ahead and see if it's the soft tire. Well, I'm not one to call out mistakes, but I do believe that is certainly a mistake down at Mercedes. The soft compound tire we saw earlier in the race was not working very well for the Williams. For either one of them, they see themselves a long way adrift, courtesy of that strategic blunder. I do believe Young is going to be subject to that as well here on lap number 17. That could be race done and dusted, pitting out of sequence. NASCAR Freak now is still within DRS range of the Ferrari in front of him. Can he potentially do as we head into the back half of this race? That will be the question asked, as the Aston Martins are still lying astern in 4th and 5th. It would be a great result for them if they can carry on as they are. If memory serves me correctly, a double DNF was not what they were looking for last time out, but they will certainly be looking to try to put a remedy to that here this evening in the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. This is still the closest battle out on track. This is the battle for third place, but NASCAR Freak, with that 3-second time penalty, has Assumption maybe made an error there? No, it's the Williams of Mark who really is just having his night go from bad to worse. And into the pit lane goes the Williams, and, well, collecting the pit wall is the Williams. So really just not having a good night of what looked like it was going to be a phenomenal evening, has turned from phenomenal into not at all. Mark into the pit lane and just trying to stay in this race at this point, hang out for a safety car, and maybe salvage a few points if he can. Back up at the front, however, this is 7, leading this train of 3 behind him up the hill once more for the 19th time this evening. As Mo, we haven't seen too much of the Haas this time out after his earlier slide. Currently under pressure from the Kick Salbovero Knight, who we've hardly seen here this evening. These two battling this one out for 7th, but NASCAR Freak and Hicks back up in 4th position, are closer than they have been for the last couple of laps. NASCAR Freak has lost time to the Ferrari in front of him and exploring the lengths of the track once more. Is the American as they rocket down the pit straight once more to start lap number 20. 13 to go. As you see Young there retiring from the race, so that strategic blunder, not what Mercedes needed in order to follow up their phenomenal round 1 performance. They will only finish the night with 1 car on track, but at least their 1 car left out on track is currently in the lead. However, that lead that once was 5.5 seconds now has been reduced to 1.2 seconds as Assumption is really putting the hammer down on the Mercedes, looking to push that car as fast as he could. And I wonder if Capex might just be able to get within the DRS range of the Mercedes before the pit straight. And coming corners will be able to tell us just that. Capex has had a good section through there. Not likely to be within the 1 second needed to open the rear wing for that Williams this time around, but we will go ahead and absolutely keep tabs on that gap as we head into now lap number 21. This battle for 4th place is likely to carry on through the remaining stages of the race, but that 3-second penalty that NASCAR Freak holds as things stand is going to loom extremely large should it stay as it is in the 12 laps that precede us. Knight has gotten past the Haas of Mo, but that battle for 7th likely be renewed once again as we head down the hill, then back up once more into the fast left that then becomes a quick right. Turn 6, that's a tricky corner. You get the power down, you can do it. You will find loads of lap time. Shermer in the Red Bull is just slowly beginning to lose touch with the Aston Martins in front that have almost completely now lost touch with the Ferrari, and losing touch with their timing sheets even more is NASCAR Freak. 6 seconds of penalties for the Aston Martin, which will certainly take him out of the top spots as his teammate had a little look to the inside as Shermer had just lost DRS momentarily. We're going to see if that little lunge is Yanks just wants to get past his teammate now. You wonder if there's any communication taking place down at Aston Martin, they will be looking to swap these two around. They know that NASCAR Freak is going to be out of this battle when the timing sheets come to fruition. But Capex, this is the battle for the lead. Capex has really been able to coast through the first 21 laps of this race, but here on lap number 22, his job has gotten significantly harder with a Racing Bull slowly filling his mirrors. This is battle for the lead here on lap number 22. You would have to imagine, do they bring it in one more time for another stop? That will be the question. Capex looking to break that toe. Can only make the one move. There goes a second move and a third move once more, but matter not, because the drag reduction system allowing Exception to be alongside as the inside becomes the outside. The inside once more. They're wheel to wheel up the hill on the exit of turn 3. Capex still fighting this one out. The Mercedes and the Racing Bull. It's the Racing Bull that has the racing line, and he might just have the drive out of the corner, but still battling this one out is the Mercedes. To the inside goes what was the race leader. Exception into the lead of this race once more. Capex just not able to continue that battle any longer than he did. Can Exception find a way to gain a little bit of time in the coming corners? Capex gaining and gaining, but not able to respond into turn 10 that quickly becomes turn 11. Capex all over the back of this Racing Bull as NASCAR Freak and Hicks renewing their, I don't want to call them hostilities as teammates, but they are very, very close. As Hicks almost pushing his teammate around the final corner. Could a door of opportunity open for Shermer? Could a door of opportunity open for Capex? To the inside, the Mercedes has the move done. That was a little bit easier than the last time around, as we saw these two fight around about 6 corners. I don't think we have seen the last of this pair yet, treating us to some phenomenal racing. Hicks has gotten past his teammate in NASCAR Freak, so he can be released, and you would have to imagine that the Aston Martins will look to use the penalized NASCAR Freak to just hold up the Red Bull of Shermer behind, make sure that he cannot attack Hicks later on in this race. But all eyes are there back at the front. We look at Capex and Exception. Dylan as well is not showing a time. He looks to be disconnected from the session as he resides down in 10th. His teammate Mark is not had a good race himself, but here goes Capex once more. Moves to the inside to break the toe, showing Exception to the outside, but this time as easy as you'd like. Exception has the move done. Into the lead once more goes the Racing Bull. That's a crucial moment in this race as NASCAR Freak again overtakes his teammate. I really do wonder if this is NASCAR Freak just trying to get the move done on his teammate to show that he's the #1 car, but that's not going to help them out if the Red Bull gets the best of them here this evening. As Capex, a huge moment there from the championship leader. Capex, a huge slide out of the corner, has allowed Exception to instantly gap him. It's 1.4 seconds the lead now here on lap number 25. Capex make immediate remedies to his potentially crucial mistake. Aston Martin seem to have sorted themselves out as well. Shermer now just about 1 second behind those in front as Hicks is peeled it into the pit lane. So interesting decision here from Aston Martin. I'm very, very interested in that. That doesn't seem to be the move here in the closing laps. It's going to take a lot in order to re-overtake Schirmer at this stage of the race with 6 laps to go. I question the move to bring Hiex in. I think as though the Aston Martins have gotten it all wrong as he rejoins behind Ted. So behind the Alpine in 9th place is Hiex, and a lot to do to regain his position in 5th, and that's just going to open the door for the other Aston Martin to lose 4th place as well. Schirmer's been simply handed 4th position here, courtesy of the Aston Martins pitting at the wrong junction and taking a bunch of penalties. It's a bit of a silly decision there, and a bit of a head scratcher from the Aston Martins. Do they know something that we don't? This is now the closest battle out on track. Is Hiex trying to re-overtake the Alpine of Ted? And you can see he's losing this time to the Alpine. They just now come through the final corner, and it's, well, if you want to see a moment of absolute madness in this race, that might have been it. You talk about things that win you races, things that gain you points. That's certainly one of the blunders that we've seen here this evening. But through into 8th place, as this recovery drive will really need to be expedited now from the Aston Martin, as he is still 11 seconds behind just 7th place. So a long, long way to go to retake 5th position, and not just catch the Red Bull, but overtake the Red Bull. That is going to be the key as we head into the late closing stages of this race. We will have 6 laps to go after Inception leads us over the line here to start lap number 28. There you see the Mercedes in the background slowly losing touch with this Racing Bull out front. Inception having such an up and down race last time out around the Austrian hillside will be looking to put those memories behind him and rectify that immediately with a bounce back win here in Spain. Team looks to do that. Look to see what is in front of us. It is timeout around Barcelona, around Baku actually. We're currently at Barcelona. We will head to the Azerbaijani capital, the streets that always produce moment after moment on full display next time out. This is the battle for 6th place that has been raging on for a while. Mo and Aero Knight looking to renew their familiarities as we head into the final laps of this race. This is the closest battle out on track. Hiex is still 11 seconds behind. Now with 5 laps to go, as Deception has increased his lead to 2.5 seconds out at the front of the field. 7 maybe is likely not going to be able to threaten CapEx. The top 3 likely to stay as they are. As NASCAR Freak, another 3-second time penalty. He's close to maybe dropping all the way down to 6th place. It's going to be one to watch at the end of this race. And Aero Knight might not know that there's 6 seconds of penalties residing in 4th place, but it's still a long way up the road from these two battling it out for 6th. One more penalty, though, and NASCAR Freak is really going to lose out on a whole boatload of points as Mo is a huge snap of oversteer out of that corner, and that might just invite Aero Knight to take the place off of him. When all the penalties are said and done, could he potentially find a way into an improved position, courtesy of NASCAR Freak being a little too adventurous with the track limits? Now, 4 laps to go. The gap from Inception to CapEx only getting wider and wider. Schirmer just dropping back in 5th place a little bit, knowing that he really doesn't need to try to race too much at all for the rest of this one. He can go ahead and coast in 5th place and go ahead and take home 4th. Meanwhile, I mentioned that 7 was losing touch with the Mercedes in front. He has reeled in that silver arrow ever so slightly over the course of the last couple of corners, just about, and now within the 1 second frame needed in order to open that rear wing, which he'll be able to do twice around this lap. 7 now. Capex really struggling through this section in particular, losing half a second to the Ferrari behind. And you wonder if Capex might just have to settle for what is the farthest step on the podium. 7 looking to make amends for last time out. It wasn't the race that either of the Ferraris would have wanted. Nevertheless, they find Scarlet Red back on the podium once more, and really, in our second race, kick off their constructor's defense as he's gaining and gaining and gaining on the Mercedes. Alongside goes 7 into second place. He goes, move done before the corner. Capex have a little look at the switchback as they head up the hill. It's going to be a little bit too far in front is the Ferrari. Move done into second he goes, and Capex has seen what was a 5.5 second lead at the field be reduced to just 3rd place in the very twilight of this race. On a night what could have been for Mercedes, they had both their drivers within the top 5. Young making that mistake in the pit lane, going on to the soft compound tires, ultimately leading to his absence of this race. And Capex just not having the pace required as these hard compound tires start to see latter stages of life. But right as we see that, this is a battle for 4th place that I don't think Schirmer was really planning on having, but nevertheless, NASCAR Freak might just be struggling a little bit more on his tires than the Red Bull behind. Can Schirmer get the move done on track? Not need time penalties to separate himself from the Aston Martin. That is a, well, you want to talk about double moves. That might have been one that we've seen right there from the Aston Martin. Something we've seen a couple times from a few drivers out on the grid. I don't think Red Bull nor Schirmer will be too happy about that one. Wasn't alongside, but certainly slamming the door was the Aston Martin of NASCAR Freak, but still under immediate threat from the Red Bull behind. If he can get past, Schirmer won't need to see if those penalties are removed at the end of the race. They're likely not going to be, but you never know. He wants to get this move done on track, not just for himself, but just to try to take the confidence into this season. A confidence that is sky high at the moment after being promoted from Tier 4. Looking at 2 top 5 finishes in Tier 3 is a phenomenal start to life in the Tier 3 career of Schirmer, as he looks to put NASCAR Freak under pressure once more as they head down the pit straight for the final time. And Schirmer get the move done. He looks to the inside. He's gaining and gaining, but still a little bit too far back is that Red Bull, and he's really only going to have one more overtaking opportunity, bar any mistakes from the Aston Martin in front. How much battery do the two of them have will be the question that is asked. Nevertheless, we head now into the end of the middle sector. It has been a race of pace this evening here from Inception. He has by far been the fastest man out on track, was leading at qualifying at one point, had the move done, then didn't into the opening corner, has had to be patient for his moment to overtake Capex in that Mercedes, who held the lead for so long. But for the Racing Bulls, it's a win here around Spain. It's a win for Inception. He comes across the line as 7 finishes in second. A great result for Ferrari. Capex will have to settle for third place. He will still see himself atop the championship, but that lead that could it have been back-to-back wins, has gone astray. NASCAR Freak drops all the way to 6th position, losing out to the Haas of Mo at the end of the day. Shermer finishing in 4th place. Hats off to the Red Bull. Another phenomenal performance for the man newly promoted from the lower tier. Ted, our last man out on track, will round up the field in 9th position. Looking to set the fastest lap of the race. He set the fastest middle sector. I'm sure with those fresh, soft tires, he will be able to light up the timing sheets here for the final time this evening. As Ted comes around the final corner, keeps it out on the track, and does he set that fastest lap? He most certainly does, so something to hold on to heading into next week. Fastest man on track is Ted in the Alpine, finishing in 9th, but there you go. A race that had a little bit of everything. We had moments, we had controversy. Just like that was said and done. Exception winning here from 2nd, 7. Getting it done from 5th. Finishing on the podium, Capex starting in 3rd, finishing in 3rd. And plenty of time penalties going around. Shermer, another phenomenal race from him, starting in 10th, finishing in 4th. Certainly up there for driver of the day. Exception you see there is certainly going to be pushing at Mercedes of Capex in the Drivers' Championship, which all eyes will be on after this race. Williams, we're having a great look. Not quite having the strategy. That soft compound tire not panning out for the Williams. But nevertheless, that is all I have for you now. Until next week, this time, we will head around the streets of Baku in Azerbaijan, where I'm sure have plenty of more incidents to be had. We head into week number 3. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.